Part 1. The ones who slipped out the back door. This video is not for the person who never believed. It's not for the one who grew up saying, "There is no God," and never changed their mind. This is for the one who used to believe. The one who used to sit in church every week. The one who used to raise their hands in worship until their arms ached. The one who used to cry at the altar and say things like, "God, you can have my whole life." You didn't just know about God. You knew His presence. You knew what it felt like when a room shifted, and you could sense in your bones, He steps here. You served. You volunteered. You stayed late to stack chairs. You showed up early to rehearse, to set up sound, to help with kids, to pray for other people. There was a season where if anyone had asked, "Who is the serious one about God?" people would have pointed at you. But now, you're not there anymore. You don't sit in those chairs. You don't stand on that stage. You don't post Bible verses. You don't put Jesus first in your bio. For some people, you just quietly disappeared. No big announcement. No angry rant on social media. No letter to leadership calling everyone out. You just started missing a few Sundays. Then a few more. Then you stopped replying to certain messages. You turned "I'm just tired" into "I'm busy" into silence. At some point, people realized you were not around anymore. Maybe they assumed you backslid. Maybe they whispered about you in prayer meetings. Maybe they said things like, "They must never have really known God," or "They let the world pull them away." And the painful thing is, you know that's not the whole story. Because deep down you didn't wake up one morning and say, "I don't believe in God anymore." What you said, even if you never put it into words, was more like, "I can do this anymore. I can do the pressure. I can do the expectations. I can do the spiritual guilt trip. I can do the feeling that I am never enough, never holy enough, never on fire enough." You didn't walk out on some stranger in the sky. You walked out of rooms where you were exhausted, disappointed, hurt, confused, and too tired to keep pretending that everything was fine. Some of you left after a specific moment, a betrayal. A leader sets hypocrisy, something that should have been dealt with and wasn't. Words that cut deep and were brushed off as correction. Others of you didn't have one big explosion. It was more like a slow leak. Week by week, year by year, your heart got more drained, more numb, more disconnected. Until one day you realized, "I'm still going through the motions, but my heart checked out a long time ago." And eventually your body followed your heart. You stopped going. You stopped serving. You stopped trying. Now, if someone asks about your faith, you might say things like, "I'm taking a break. I'm deconstructing. I still believe in something. Just not that." You might make jokes about your church phase. You might roll your eyes when Christian content pops up. You might explain your distance with words like toxic, legalistic, or religious trauma. And yet, for some reason, late at night, when it's quiet, God still shows up in your thoughts. It's 2 in the morning. Your room is dark. Your phone is the only thing lighting up your face. You're scrolling mindlessly, trying not to feel much of anything. Then suddenly, a verse you memorized years ago floats up in your mind, or a worship song you haven't heard in forever starts playing in your memory. Or you see a random video talking about Jesus, and for a second your heart aches in a way you can't explain. You swipe away fast, as if you can outrun that ache. You tell yourself, "I stumbled over that season. I already tried that. not going back. But the truth is, you never fully stopped thinking about him. You still wonder if he sits mad at you. You still wonder if he understands why you left. You still wonder if he sees what you went through. And deep, deep down, under all the layers of frustration and disappointment, there steps a part of you that misses him. Not the drama, not the pressure, not the politics. Him. You don't know how to say that out loud, because it feels complicated. You speak like, how can I miss someone I also feel hurt by? How can I long for God and be angry at everything that was done in his name? How can I think about coming close again when I sit am afraid of getting wounded all over? If any of that sounds like you, this video is for you, not for the person who never knew God. Not for the one who only went to church twice in their life. This is for the ones who left faith quietly, the ones who slipped out the back door, the ones everyone assumes are gone. But heaven knows you step not as far as you look. In the rest of this video, we're going to talk about what really happened to your heart, what the Bible actually shows us about people who ran, hid, or gave up. Why you still think about God at 2 a.m. and what it could look like. Not to crawl back into a system that broke you, but to let the real Jesus meet you again, right where you are now. You might feel like you're watching this by accident. You stare. Not. You may have left quietly, but God did not quietly leave you. Part 2. What really happened to your heart? Let's be honest. Most people looking at you from the outside would give a very simple explanation. They left because they got distracted. They loved the world more than God. They just didn't have deep roots. And maybe some of that language has been used about you. Maybe you even used it on yourself. I must just be weak. Maybe I never really loved God. Maybe I am just rebellious. But that's not the full story, is it? Because if it was just about you being weak or worldly, you wouldn't still be thinking about God at 2 a.m. You wouldn't still care. You wouldn't still feel that ache. Something deeper happened. Something to your heart. You didn't just walk away because sin looked shiny. You walked away because something in you got tired, or wounded, or confused, or numb. So let's talk about that. Not to blame people forever, not to stay stuck in bitterness, but to actually name what happened, so you can heal. Because you cannot heal from what you refuse to name. For some of you, what happened could be summed up in 2 words: church, hurt. You opened up. You confessed your struggles. You shared your story. You thought, this is a safe place. These are my brothers and sisters. And then one day, the thing you shared in confidence came back to you as gossip, or as a prayer request with just too many details. You heard your own story from someone you never told. Or maybe the people who were supposed to protect you chose to protect their image instead. Something real happened to you. A betrayal, a violation, a line that should never have been crossed. And instead of standing with you, they minimized it. They blamed you. They swept it under the rug for the sake of unity, or so we don't hurt the reputation of the church. Without saying it out loud, they taught you, we care more about the platform than your pain. So a part of your heart shut down. Others of you went through something that we don't like to talk about in church, but it's very real. Spiritual manipulation and control. It didn't start that way. At first it was, we are a family. We are a house of honor. We spur all in this together. And you wanted that. You were hungry to belong. So, you served. You said yes. You showed up. You gave your time, your money, your energy. But slowly, the tone changed. Real Christians don't miss services. If you step a not here, it shows where your heart really is. If you said are not willing to do this, maybe you said not surrendered to God. Serving stopped feeling like a joyful response to love and started feeling like a test you kept failing. Your worth was tied to what you did, how much you volunteered, how available you were, how quickly you said yes. And every time you tried to say, "I'm spin tired," or "I need a break," you felt guilt. You heard verses thrown at you like weapons. Whoever puts his hand to the plow and looks back, do not forsake the assembling. Deny yourself. Take up your cross. Suddenly, boundaries looked like rebellion. Rest looked like compromise. Admitting you were struggling looked like you were not serious about God. So what did you do? You pushed yourself past your limits. You kept showing up when your heart was empty. You kept praying for others while secretly dying inside. Until eventually, your soul did what your mouth was too afraid to say. I can sit, do this anymore. Then there steps another layer. Hypocrisy. You saw the backstage. You saw the person who preached fire on Sunday and lived like none of it was true on Monday. You saw the leader who talked about humility but couldn't handle any correction. You saw the worship that was loud on the stage and cold off it. Maybe you watched real sin get covered because the person was useful or anointed or brought in money, numbers, influence. And somewhere deep inside you thought, if this is what ministry looks like, if this is what a church sheds is, I don't want it. It wasn't that you stopped believing in God's holiness. You just stopped believing the people in front of you actually represented Him. And then there sips burnout. This one is quiet. Nobody necessarily abused you. Nobody launched some huge attack. You just slowly became the person everyone relied on. You said yes to so much that you didn't have time to be a child of God anymore. You were a volunteer, a leader, a worshiper, and intercessor. Everything except a son or daughter resting with their father. People praised you. You stir so faithful. Your spirit so anointed. God is really using you. But inside your love was running on fumes. You were singing about a God you didn't feel close to anymore. Praying for encounters you weren't set having. Encouraging everyone else to press in, while secretly wondering if you'd missed something. And because no one asked the right questions, no one saw the slow fading. No one said, "Hey, you serve a lot. How sips your heart?" They were happy you were effective, useful, available, but you were not okay. So one day, you crashed. Not always in some big moral failure. Sometimes you just stopped. You stopped showing up. You stopped answering. You stopped forcing yourself to feel something you didn't feel. And the story became, they fell away. They turned from God. They loved the world more than Him. But you know that sip's not exactly it. Because if the whole issue was, you just love sin, you wouldn't still grieve the distance. You wouldn't still miss Him. You wouldn't still replay old moments with God, like someone scrolling through pictures of a relationship that ended. Here is what I want you to hear. Yes, there may be sin you need to face. Yes, there may be choices you made that were wrong. This is not about pretending we're all just victims. But also, you are not crazy. You are not overreacting. You are not the only one who walked away because the version of church you were given became a place of pressure, confusion, or pain. Something real happened to your heart, and God knows the whole story. He saw the late nights you spent crying after services. He heard the prayers you prayed that started with, "God, I love you, but I don't understand. He watched the moment you walked out for the last time, not with anger toward him, but with a kind of numb resignation. I can stay in this and be healthy. I can keep doing this and stay sane. If this is what following God looks like, I don't think I can do it. What if heaven didn't label that moment the way humans did? What if, instead of rebel, backslider, fake Christian, God looked at you and said, "My child is wounded. My child is exhausted. My child is confused. My child is walking away from a system, but I am not letting go of their heart." In other words, maybe the story of your life isn't, "I left God." Maybe the more honest version is, "I left a version of church that hurt me, burned me, or emptied me, and I don't know how to separate that from God yet." Part of this journey is letting God untangle himself from all the things that tried to speak in his name, but didn't look like him. In the next part, we're going to look at people in the Bible who ran, hid, or gave up, prophets, disciples, leaders, and what God did with them. Because you might feel like you messed up the story, but you're going to see, not the first one, to walk away and still be on God's radar. Part 3, Bible stories of people who ran, hid, or even gave up. If you have ever thought, "I must be the worst kind of Christian," because you walked away, or shut down, or ran from what God was asking, I want you to hear this. You are not the first. The Bible is not a highlight reel of people who got it right all the time. It is a brutally honest story of people who ran, hid, gave up, broke down, and still somehow ended up in the middle of God's plan. Let's talk about a few of them. First, let's talk about Elijah. Elijah was not a casual believer. He wasn't the comes once a month if he feels like it guy. He was the prophet who called down fire from heaven. The one who faced off with hundreds of false prophets. The one who saw God move in ways most of us only dream about. If anyone could say, "And Sevi's seen too much to ever doubt," it was Elijah. And yet, after one major victory, when Jezebel threatened his life, Elijah ran, not just to the next town, he ran into the wilderness, sat under a broom tree, and his prayer was not, "Lord, use me more," or "Lord, send revival." It was this, "I have had enough, Lord, take my life." Read that again. The bold prophet, who stood before kings, ended up under a small tree, asking God to let him die. That's not a man who lost his theology. That's a man whose soul hit a wall. He was exhausted, afraid, burned out, disillusioned, and done. Does that sound familiar? He wasn't saying, like, "I don't believe you exist." His prayer was more like, "I know you for real, and I am still so tired. I don't want to keep going." How did God respond? Did he say, "How dare you? Do you know how anointed you are? After everything I've done through you?" No. God let him sleep, then sent an angel to cook him a meal. Not a lecture, food, water, rest. And then later, God spoke to him, not with a shout, but with a gentle whisper. The story of Elijah tells us something huge. You can be deeply used by God and still reach a point where you want to walk away from it all. And God does not throw you away for that. Now, let's talk about Jonah. Jonah is interesting because he didn't drift slowly. He ran deliberately. God gave him a clear assignment. Go to Nineveh. And Jonah basically said, "No, He went the opposite direction, bought a ticket on a ship, headed as far as he could get from what God asked. He wasn't set confused about God's voice. He knew exactly what God said. That's why he ran so hard. Some of you relate to that. It spurs not that God never spoke to you. It states that he spoke, and what he asked felt too costly, too painful, too close to your trauma, too risky. So you didn't just slowly fade. You sprinted. You stuffed your schedule with anything that wasn't spiritual. You drowned out conviction with noise, entertainment, distraction. Like Jonah, you didn't want to talk about it. You just wanted a way. But here whispers the thing about Jonah. He could run from the assignment, but he could not outrun the presence. In the storm, God was there. In the belly of the fish, God was there. Jonah prayed from the deepest, darkest place, and God heard him. This is important. Jonah's location changed, but God's awareness of him did not. Some of you feel like you've gone too far. You've said too much. You've done too many things out of anger, or fear, or numbness. But if God can hear Jonah from inside the belly of a fish, at the bottom of the sea, he can still hear you from your bedroom, your apartment, your car, your mess. Running did not change God's ability to reach him. Now let's talk about Peter. Peter wasn't just some random follower. He was inner circle, close friend. The told die with you guy. He got revelations from the Father. He walked on water. He saw miracles up close. If anyone should have known better, it was Peter. And yet, when things got rough, when Jesus was arrested, Peter denied even knowing him. Not once, 3 times. He didn't just miss church. He said, I don't know that man. The last time, he cursed to prove his point. Imagine the shame. The Bible says that after the rooster crowed, Peter remembered Jesus' words and went outside and wept bitterly. That's not casual guilt. That's soul-level heartbreak. Some of you know that feeling. You said things, did things, walked in directions that you swore you said never go. And now when you think about God, you feel that bitter mix of, I failed him. I betrayed what I knew, and spun not who I thought I was. But Peter's story didn't end in that courtyard. Later, on a beach, the risen Jesus made breakfast for him. Think about that. The one Peter betrayed lit a fire, cooked fish, and invited him to eat. No cold stare from across the room. No silent treatment. Then Jesus asked him 3 times, do you love me? Not, why did you do it? Not, explain yourself. He went straight to the core. Do you love me? And after Peter's broken, honest, yes. Jesus didn't say, okay, you can come back as a low-level member. He said, feed my sheep. In other words, I still trust you with people. The same man who denied Jesus publicly was restored publicly and trusted with a calling again. Why am I telling you about Elijah, Jonah, and Peter? Because I need you to see something. The Bible is full of people who ran, hid, tepelabst, or messed up loudly after knowing God, and yet God still went after them. Elijah wanted to quit. Jonah wanted to run. Peter wanted to disappear. God knew where to find each one. He knew where Elijah was sleeping. He knew which boat Jonah booked. He knew which shoreline Peter went back to. He didn't stand far away and say, when you are done with your drama, come back, and maybe I shall take you. He moved toward them in their worst moments. Hear, spirits, what that means for you. You are not a bizarre exception. You are not the first person to know God and then say, "I sperm done," or "I can set to do this," or "I sperm going the other way." Your story fits right into the messy pattern of Scripture. God has a long history of dealing gently with tired prophets, stubborn runners, and ashamed disciples. So when you say, "I left," he says, "I know. I saw every step. I understand more than you think. And I have not lost track of you." You might feel like you stare at your own broom tree, lying under your own version of that place, saying, "Spit had enough." You might feel like you're in the belly of your own fish, swallowed by consequences, confusion, or choices you now regret. You might feel like you're standing in your own courtyard, remembering the moment you denied what you once confessed, hearing the rooster of regret every time something reminds you of God. Wherever that is, heaven does not see that place as the end of your story. In fact, you watching this video might be your angel with food, your storm on the sea, your breakfast on the beach moment, a surprising, inconvenient, undeniable reminder that God still knows your name, your story, your location, and your heart. In the next part, we're going to talk about why you still think about God at 2 a.m. Not as a random brain glitch, but as a sign that the same God who went after Elijah, Jonah, and Peter has never stopped coming after you. Part 4. Why you still think about God at 2 a.m. Let's talk about that 2 a.m. thing. Because if you were really done, if you had truly, completely shut the door on God, why does your heart still react? When His name comes up, why do you still feel something? When you hear a worship song by accident, or see a verse on your feed, or pass by a church building at night, why is it that you can go all day, busy, distracted, numb, but then when it sets late, the room is dark, the notifications are quiet, and it sets just you and your thoughts? God keeps showing up in the hallway of your mind, like someone you thought you moved out from. But somehow the lease of your heart is still in His name. Picture this. It steps late. Your phone is glowing in your hand. You two are half lying, half sitting in bed. You're still scrolling through videos, just trying to shut your brain off. You've watched comedy, music, random story times, maybe some content you're not proud of. You're trying to feel anything, or maybe feel nothing, depending on the night. And then, out of nowhere, a clip pops up. Someone talking about Jesus, or about church hurt, or about prodigals. You hover for a second. You tell yourself, not this again, and you swipe away. But the crazy thing, you don't forget it. Something in your chest tightens. Your mind races a little. You start arguing in your head. Yeah, but you don't know what I went through. Yeah, but it sounds not that simple. Yeah, but if God really cared. You scroll to something else, but your heart stayed 2 videos back. Or maybe it sets not content. Maybe it spins memory. You stare trying to fall asleep, and suddenly your brain replays a moment. That one worship night where you felt His presence so thick you couldn't even stand. That retreat where you felt so sure of your calling. That simple moment alone in your room when you cried and knew, I'm not alone right now. You remember what it felt like to be soft toward Him, and it hurts because you don't know what to do with the gap between who you used to be and who you are now. So sometimes, instead of leaning into that memory, you shove it down. You tell yourself, I was young, I was naive, I was manipulated, it was just emotion. You try to rewrite your entire past with God, as if it was all fake, because some parts turned sour later. But deep, deep down, you know there were moments no human could have manufactured. Times when no one was laying hands on you, no one was hyping you up, no one was singing the bridge one more time, and yet God was there. He spoke to you about things nobody knew. He comforted you in ways nobody else could. He met you when you weren't trying to impress anyone. Those moments are stubborn. They don't just disappear because you got hurt later. They sit in your history like glowing embers under the ashes. You can throw more dirt on them, call them fake, call yourself crazy, but every so often, something in life blows on them and they flare up again. And then it sits 2 a.m. and you're staring at the ceiling, thinking, why am I still thinking about God? Why can't I just move on like everyone else? Let me say something that might explain that. You are not thinking about God because you are obsessed with religion. You're thinking about God because He has not stopped thinking about you. We like to say, I left, I walked away, I closed that chapter. But Scripture paints this other picture, a shepherd who leaves the 99 to go after the one, a father, who watches the road for the kid that left with pockets full of inheritance and a head full of pride, a God who says things like, you did not choose me, but I chose you. Yes, you made decisions. Yes, you walked away from places. Yes, you pulled back from people, but the one who met you in those real moments years ago does not unchoose you, because you are limping now. When you truly encounter God, you do not just pick up a hobby, you are marked. The Bible calls it a seal. That means His Spirit left a real imprint on you, and you can try to cover that imprint. You can tattoo over it with new beliefs, new identities, new explanations. But if you ever had one of those moments where you knew He is real, He is here, He is talking to me, you cannot unknow that. You can resist it, you can argue with it, you can drown it in distraction, but you can erase it. And because He loves you, He keeps finding gentle, sometimes annoying, little ways to remind you that He has not moved. A random Christian video, a childhood song in a grocery store, a verse someone posts that hits exactly where you stirred bleeding, a stranger saying something that sounds suspiciously like an answer to a question you only asked in your head. You call it coincidence, your algorithm, your trauma. And sure, those things play a role. But sometimes, if you steer honest, it feels a little too specific, doesn't state it, like someone has been paying very close attention. You can unfollow churches, unfriend Christians, move cities, change your entire routine, and still find your heart stirring when you hear the name of Jesus. That is not just memory, that is mercy. Because here's betters the truth. If God wanted to judge you, the most terrifying thing would not be Him sending lightning or punishing you instantly. The scariest judgment would be Him completely leaving you alone. No conviction, no reminders, no more 2 a.m. thoughts, just silence. The fact that you still feel pulled, poked, disturbed, bothered, is not proof that God is mad. It's proof that God is near. You might say, but I'm angry with Him. I don't trust Him. I don't understand why He let certain things happen. and I get that. You may not be ready to fall on your knees and say, "Take my whole life again." But maybe, underneath your anger, there is still a thread of longing you haven't been able to cut. Longing for the safety you once felt in His presence. Longing for the clarity you had when you heard His voice. Longing for the sense of home you had when you worshipped and forgot about everything else. You can long for that and still be scared. You can long for that and still be confused. God is not threatened by that mixture. You might think, I have to fix all my theology, heal all my trauma, and be sure about everything before I even think about God again. But what if the very reason you're still thinking about Him is not so you can fix everything alone, but so you can let Him into the mess you've been trying to untangle by yourself? What if the 2 a.m. thoughts are not hauntings, but invitations? Not God saying, "Remember how badly you failed," but God whispering, "I remember how deeply you loved me, and I know what happened. Can we talk about it?" You might say, "I don't want to go back." And maybe you shouldn't go back to the same patterns, same people, same systems that broke you. But there is a difference between going back to a place and turning your face toward a person. You don't have to walk through those church doors tomorrow. You don't have to sign up for a ministry again. You don't have to post a testimony online. But you can, in the quiet of your room, admit the most honest sentence you've been choking back for years. "God, I left, but I can stop thinking about you." That SIP's not weakness. That SIP's not betrayal of your healing journey. That might be the first real prayer you've prayed in a long time. In the next part, we're going to talk about something you desperately need to hear. The difference between Jesus and the religion that hurt you. Because part of why you stuck is that in your mind, the is still the same thing, but they spur not. And until you see the difference, you'll keep running from both. Even though the one you are really hungry for is not a system, not a building, not a brand. It steps in. Part 5. Jesus faces the religion that hurt you. We need to talk about something that might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's actually the key to a lot of your confusion. Because right now, when you think about coming back to God, your brain doesn't just picture Him. It pictures the building, the leaders, the system, the expectations, the trauma, the control, the shame. It all blurs together. So when I say God, you don't just see a father. You see faces. You hear voices. You feel pressure in your chest. You're not just avoiding God. You're avoiding the version of Him that was handed to you by people who did not always look like Him. So let's untangle this. There are at least 3 different things that often get mashed into one. 1. Jesus Himself, the real person you read about in Scripture. 2. Church, as God designed it. Messy but meant to be a family, a body, a bride. 3. Religious culture and systems. Human structures, traditions, power games, control, and sometimes spiritual abuse. When you got hurt, it likely wasn't Jesus who hurt you. It might not even have been the idea of church itself. It was people, systems, and culture that used God's name, but didn't act like His heart. Let's look at the real Jesus for a moment. Not the one from church slogans. Not the one from people's manipulation. The one actually walking through the pages of the Gospels. Watch who He gets close to. He sits with the woman at the well, a Samaritan, A woman with a messy relationship history, someone religious people would avoid. He doesn't say, "You sir disgusting. Get it together and then come talk to me." He asks her questions. He tells her the truth. He reveals himself as Messiah to her before a lot of respectable people. Watch how he treats the woman caught in adultery. The religious leaders drag her into the middle, publicly shaming her, using her life like a prop in their theological debate. Jesus kneels down, writes in the dust, the silence suddenly louder than their accusations. Then he stands up and says, "If any of you is without sin, throw the first stone." One by one, the rocks hit the ground. He is the only one in that circle who actually has the right to throw a stone, and he doesn't step. Instead he says, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Truth and mercy in the same breath. No performance, no manipulation, no serve in my ministry for 10 years, and maybe I'll forgive you. Just grace and a call to freedom. Watch how he responds to people crushed by religion. He says things like, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Who was he talking about? Not just tired workers in general. He was speaking to people worn out by layers and layers of religious rules, expectations, and leaders who tie up heavy burdens and don't lift a finger to help. He calls those leaders blind guides, hypocrites, whitewashed tombs. Think about that. When you imagine Jesus, do you picture him shouting at the wounded, the traumatized, the burned out ones? Or do you see that most of his harshest words were not for the broken sinner in the dirt, but for the religious system that used God's name to crush people? If your experience of church felt like constant pressure to perform, produce, and pretend, you actually have more in common with the people Jesus defended than with the people he rebuked. Some of you were manipulated using verses about submission, obedience, and sacrifice. You were told that questioning leadership was the same as rebelling against God. You were told that rest was laziness. You were told that boundaries were selfishness. You were shamed for having mental health struggles, trauma responses, questions. Maybe secrets were kept to protect the ministry while your heart bled out quietly. Can I say this gently but clearly? That was not Jesus. That might have been people who loved him, but were acting out of their own brokenness. It might have been people who used him to build their own kingdom, but that wasn't him. Jesus doesn't need to control you to keep you. He doesn't need to guilt you to make you serve. He doesn't need to shame you into holiness. He leads with love and truth and patience. He doesn't bypass sin. He doesn't pretend your choices don't matter. He doesn't water down calls to repentance. But he also doesn't weaponize scripture to trap the very people he came to set free. When you flinch at certain Bible verses because they've been used like a whip, Jesus doesn't stand over you with that whip. He stands between you and the blow and says, "That's not how this was meant to be used." Maybe you've seen leaders use "God told me" to override your voice. Maybe you've seen community used as leverage. If you leave here, you stir leaving God's will. Maybe you were taught that belonging to that group was the same thing as belonging to Jesus. So when you needed to leave the group to protect your sanity or safety, it felt like leaving Jesus too. No wonder you torn. No wonder you feel like a traitor and a victim at the same time. Here's best the truth. You can walk out of a church building and still walk with God. You can leave a system and still be in His will. You can say no to manipulation and yes to Jesus in the same breath. What you cannot do is heal by staying far from the only one who can actually untangle what happened to you. You might say, I don't want to go back to the way things were. And to that, I think Jesus would say, good. I don't still want that for you either. He is not inviting you back into endless performing. He is inviting you back into relationship, into being a son or daughter who can sit with Him without agenda, into a place where He can say, I saw that, I was there, I know what they did in my name. It was not my heart. Let me show you who I really am. If you want to know what God is like, you don't start with everything people did to you in church. You start with Jesus. Read how He moves, how He talks, who He defends, who He confronts. You might be surprised to realize that in the Gospels, you look a lot less like the Pharisees and a lot more like the bleeding woman, the ashamed disciple, the outsider at the well, and those are the very people He keeps stopping for. Here sets why this matters so much. As long as Jesus and religious pain are the same blurred picture in your mind, you will keep shutting the door on the only one who is healthy enough, holy enough, and gentle enough to walk you through your healing. He is not recruiting you to back into a brand. He is calling you back into His arms, back to the person who loved you before you ever led a small group, sang a song, or served in a ministry. Back to the one who knew every way you would be hurt and still said, I want them, I choose them, I'll pay whatever it costs to bring them home. In the final part of this message, we're going to talk about what home actually looks like for a heart like yours. Not a perfect life, not a perfectly wrapped testimony, but a prodigal heart that still has a place to collapse, but to be honest, to be held, without pretending you were never wounded along the way. Part 6. A prodigal heart that still has a home. If you have made it this far, I want you to notice something. You steer still here, still listening, still watching. You could, said clicked away when this started to get close. You could have muted the video when the memories started to sting, but you didn't instead. And I don't think that's an accident. So let's talk about home. Not home as in a building, a brand, or a ministry. Home as in, is there still a place where my heart can land after everything I said, seen, done, and walked away from? Jesus told a story about a son who walked away. You have probably heard it before, but I want you to hear it like it's the first time. There was a son who decided he was done with his father Sep's house, done with rules, done with being the good kid. He asked for his inheritance early, which in that culture was basically saying, I want what you give me, not you. I wish you were dead, so I can live how I want. That's not a soft exit, that is brutal. The father gave it, didn't stacked, argue, didn't step beg. The son left. He went far, spent everything, chased experiences, relationships, pleasure, anything that felt like freedom. Until one day, that freedom, this bus, felt like a cage. Money gone, friends gone, dignity gone. He found himself feeding pigs, wishing he could eat their food. Scripture says, he came to himself. That moment right there, that sips the 2 a.m. moment. The moment where the noise dies down, and you face the truth. This isn't what I thought it would be. This isn't stout who I thought I stout become. The son didn't suddenly become holy. He didn't cry, "Father, I have a deep revelation of covenant theology." He just realized, "My father said servants are treated better than this. Maybe I could go back, not as a son, but as a servant." He rehearsed a speech, asked fears, sinned, "I son not worthy. Make me like one of your hired servants." Shame will always try to downgrade your identity. I know I can never be what I was. Maybe I can just be allowed near, at a distance, on the edge. What he didn't know is that while he was far away, his father had never stopped watching the road. The day the son finally decided to come home, the father saw him while he was still a long way off. Which means the father wasn't set busy, pretending he never had another son. He was looking, waiting, hoping, and when he saw him, he didn't stand on the porch with crossed arms and a list of conditions. He ran. Old men didn't run like that in that culture. It was undignified. But love will do undignified things to reach a heart that thought it was too far gone. The son starts his speech, "Father, I have sinned. I am no longer worthy." The father doesn't even let him finish the part where he asks to be downgraded to servant. He calls for a robe, a ring, sandals, a feast. In other words, bring out the signs of sonship, whilst not hiring a worker back. We as to are welcoming a child home. Why am I telling you this story? Because a lot of you were standing in the pigpen of your own choices and the wreckage of your own church experiences. And when you think about God, you rehearse speeches in your head that sound like, "God, I messed everything up. I know I am not your kind of person anymore. If you could just tolerate me on the edge. If you could just let me in the back row and not be mad. If you could just not hate me, that would be enough." Shame is trying to negotiate a servant contract with a father who is still holding a ring. Yours too, like, "I don't know if I can come back as a Christian again. I don't know if I can serve, lead, or be what I used to be." And maybe God sets answer to you right now. This Pharisees mad. I'm not asking you to come back as a leader. I'm asking you to come back as a child. Not to stage lights. Not to a volunteer schedule. Not to the expectation machine. To me. To my heart. To my presence. You might say, "But I still have a lot of questions. I'm still angry about some things. There are leaders I don't trust. There are doctrines I'm wrestling with." Listen to me. God is not scared of your process. He is not saying, "Figure everything out. Clean up your theology. This, all your feelings, and then maybe we can talk." He is saying, "Bring your confusion into my presence. Bring your anger into my conversation. Bring your questions to me, not away from me." Home is not where everything makes sense. Home is where you stir allowed to be honest and still be loved. For some of you, home will not look like going back to the exact same church that hurt you. It might mean a different community, a smaller setting, a slower pace. It might mean just you and a Bible and God, for a while, letting Him rebuild trust from the ground up. That's okay. God is not limited to one building, one group, one style. He sets big enough to lead you gently into places and relationships that actually reflect His heart. The point is not that you rush back into a system. The point is that you stop running from him. So what does it look like to take a step today? Not a dramatic, I'm misselling everything and moving to the mission field step. A real one, a heart step. It might sound like this. God, I don't even know how to come back. I don't know what to do with my pain. I don't know what to do with the fact that I miss you and I stem mad at you at the same time. But I can sit deny that you still on my mind. I can deny that you were real then and that you still reaching for me now. So here's my honest prayer. If you still there, if you still want me, if there is still a place for me, after everything I've walked through, will you meet me again? Not in the fake version, not in the pressured version, the real you. Show me who you are, Jesus. Heal what religion broke in me. Teach me how to know you without losing myself. Teach me how to walk with you without being crushed by expectations. I don't know how to fix this, but I zip on opening the door a little bit today. If you want it, you can have my heart again. If something in you whispered yes while I prayed that, you may have just taken your first step home without even realizing it. Not home to a label, home to a person, to the Jesus who defended the ashamed, who listened to the burned out, who restored the one who denied him, who ran down the road, for the kid who left loudly and is still watching the road, for the ones who left quietly. I want to invite you to mark this moment in a simple, brave way. In the comments, if you've ever ready, write this sentence. I left quietly, but I stem letting God find me again. That sets it. You don't have to explain your whole story. You don't owe the internet your trauma. This isn't about performing for people. This is about you putting a small flag in the ground of your own heart and saying, something shifted today. I've not running quite as hard. I cracked the door open. And every time you see that sentence again, I'll remember. This wasn't just another 2 a.m. thought you brushed off. This was the day you admitted that your story with God is not over. You may have left faith quietly. You may feel like a prodigal with more questions than answers. But there is still a Father watching the road, a Savior who already carried your shame, and a Spirit who knows how to reach you in the exact corner of your life where you are hiding. You are not too far. You are not too complicated. You are not too broken. And no matter how quietly you left, heaven noticed. Heaven followed. Heaven is still here, even now, even with you, even at 2 a.m.